I don't think there's any relationship there where you're not going to fight. I think it's being able to progress from those fights and just learning more about each other, what they like or how they are.
Everyone's going to have conflict. They're all going to have their disagreements, and they're going to have their ups and downs. And there's always going to be some type of conflict, but it's just how they handle it.
How do youth communicate their real problems in relationships? A lot of screaming. There's a lot of shouting and
A
stuff.
lot of phone calls I start with, so we need to talk.
Right. A lot of hanging up and calling back.
Conflict is a fight.
A disagreement.
One person or one force clashing with another person or force.
Could be about relationships, could be about politics.
I use conflict to realize what makes a person uncomfortable or what makes them tick.
I've seen people like verbally attack each other, yell at each other.
Some people just shut down and don't talk about it.
They don't raise the issues that they have, so there isn't any conflict on the surface, but there's all this conflict under the surface, and eventually it leads to the end of the relationship because one day that person just explodes.
Conflict is how you get to know someone. It's finding out the real person inside rather than just the person that you may have thought you fall in love with.
We live in a world where you gotta have money to eat, to live, to do anything you want to, really, and so if one person is draining the other person's money, it leads to conflict very quickly.
When I spent a lot of time with a person, I'm to the point where I can let them know that I'm frustrated, and you don't have to sit there and just be like, perfect.
I know people who schedule fights because they know that they're pissed off at each other and something's happened and they need to resolve it. Sometimes we have to take a break, like if the conversation's not going anywhere and we're not listening to each other. Sometimes you just have to leave the conversation and be like, okay, I've got to come back to this.
It's also about making sure the fight remains about the issue and not about the other person.
Maybe you're just two different people and your ideas and personalities clash.
And like, what kind of fighter are they? Are they like a physical person? Do they like to throw shit?
I mean, I don't feel like the before me and the relationship me should ever change.
If you're with somebody and you never have a fight, ever, you'd think that would be kind of strange, wouldn't you?
A relationship without conflict is no relationship at all.
What did I do wrong, and what did that other person do wrong? And from there, it's in the act of humility that, to move towards truth, is that we take the perspective of both persons to see where we went wrong and how we could bridge that gap between those two parties.